The following program is a live podcast with hospitality individuals and chefs who are real people. Topics may include drinking, occasional vitamin use, choreographed violence, Appalachian humor, politics, comic books, ghosts, overindulgence, polyamory, theft, obstruction of justice, bleeding wounds, and more. These things some people may find offensive, but are not limited to what may offend some people but not others. The show does occasionally use language that would be not safe for work. But it's how real people talk, and like we said in the first line of the warning, these are real people. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please call our comment line at 860-744-4767. Thank you.
If I was looking for a best friend in life, I would want Chess Rockwell. You know what I mean? Because that guy, he'll take a bullet, he'll take a nunchuck, stand in the way of a karate blow, karate. Dirk would kill me for that. We can change that.
I'm here for the gangbang.
You know, I got other interests. I'm a magician.
It's called Sex Panther by Odeon. It's illegal in 9 countries. Yep, it's made with bits of real panther, so you know it's good.
Nice muscles, Tyler, dude.
I actually give a whole talk about treating our work like an athletic event. And when you see it that way, it doesn't mean you don't have fun. And I mean, having a shift drink and hanging with the people you just did battle with should never be taken away. But I mean, what's wrong with like calling that out a little bit? It almost feels like our industry is growing up a little bit. And I know it's easy to hold on to what was and to really glorify it. And I liked the School of Hard Knocks. I liked how hard life was. I felt like I was doing something not a lot of people could handle. But it doesn't mean it needs to be the norm. And I think that to have that stuff challenged, I don't think is that awful.
I admit I don't look like the athlete of the day supposed to look. My belly's just a little big, my hand is just a little big, but brother, I am bad and they know I'm bad. And there were 2 bad people. One was John Wayne and he's dead, brother, and the other one's right here.
If you just shut the fuck up for 30 seconds, you might learn something.
Welcome to Plumluvfoods Live, #1 live digital audio industry show for chefs by chefs. Hosted by multi-time Food Network winner and award-winning chef, Chef Plum, and culinary veteran, star of the Food Saver commercial, Chef Jeff. So wrap, date, and rotate because the boys are about to set your Nissan claws. Here are the Good Brothers.
That time of night on a Thursday, you know, we out here getting a little crazy. We got things on fire. We got stuff happening all over the screen. It's your boy Chef Plum coming at you, Plumluvfoods Live. Excited to be hanging out tonight here on a Thursday. It is February. We are deep here in the weather that's going to be snowy and cold in the Northeast, but that doesn't matter because you know what? It's always hot here on the internet. That's what I'm talking about because, you know, that's where we're at on the internet. There's no rules. There's no regulations, nothing. We're here hanging out, having a great time talking industry stuff. We got a great show for you tonight. There's a massive fight happening all across the country, particularly in Connecticut where I live right now, where right now currently you have grocery stores trying to put wine in the grocery stores. And you may think, hey, that doesn't sound like a bad idea. That's probably a good idea. Well, it's actually a terrible idea, and for all kinds of reasons. And our good friend G Patel, the wine slinger, is going to be here a little bit to tell us a little bit more about that. Plus, he's giving us a great wine to taste for the springtime. We're excited to taste this red. We're going to have that with him as well, do a little tasting. It's going to be a lot of fun, but I am not sitting here solo. Oh no, I am joined once again by my good brother and producer extraordinaire, the one and only Chef Dan. Chef Dan is with me tonight. Dan,
hey,
listen, I know we announced last week, if you follow the show, Jeffy and his shark diving expeditions, we hadn't heard from him. We thought maybe he was gone.
It was a rough week, man.
It was a rough week. It was a rough week. So all of a sudden, we get a phone call.
Yo, you know what? I'm honestly getting real fucking tired of Jeff doing this shit to me all the time, man. Because it's like I'm gonna have a heart attack. Like
it's emotional. It's
emotional. It brings me ups and downs. It's like I never know when he's coming and going. It's really like it gets to me, man. It keeps me up at night. I love Jeff with all my heart, and he wants to take these risks. wants to do these things that are just, I don't know.
Well,
man.
it turns out it wasn't a shark diving expedition this time. We were incomplete with our information when it came down to it. You're an emotional guy. I know you love with all your heart and soul. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the program. This gentleman right here is one of the best chefs you'll ever meet in the country. He is the star of a Food Saver commercial, my friends. That's right, a Food Saver commercial. And not only that, he is a COVID survivor. He is a father. He is an uncle. And he's one of our best friends, alive and well. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back Chef Jeffy to the program. There he is, Jeffy. Thank God. Thank God.
Yeah,
we gave T's and P's to your entire family. We weren't sure what was
Thanks,
happening.
guys.
Turns out,
guys, the outpouring of love from the fans and the people at home, really beautiful. It was absolutely amazing. My family probably couldn't have got through this last week without you guys. So thank you.
well, it turns out Dan and I do jump to conclusions very quickly, and you just had a little case of sour tummy again.
Yeah, I was. I mean, kind of a sour tummy. I don't know what
sour
happened.
tummy.
Pretty weird. Who knows?
I don't know what happened, Jeff.
Well, I'm also excited. I'm excited that you're here tonight and you got your grandma's doily on your head. That's exciting. We love shout out to grandma.
My mom actually made this for me, but thank you. Yeah, it's a hat. It's cold. But, up here in the Northeast, it's chilly, and I'm not made of as tough stuff as Plum. Because look at him with no shirt on. I'm in here in my I'm
currently outside right now. I'm sitting in an ice bath from my waist down.
We're in the same exact temperatures, but this is how I must dress.
Right. This is what we do here. That's what we do.
Crazy.
Well, Jeffy, we're happy to have you back. Excited to have you back and talk a little bit. Dan, always excited to have you here. We got a great program this evening. I'm a wine drinker. You guys know that. I love wine. Jeffy, you're a wine guy, aren't you? Dude,
love wine. Really excited to dig into this topic tonight too. It's going to be a lot of information. I've lived in states with both, and I feel like there's pros and cons to everything, but I'm so really excited to hear the whole thing.
A lot of information here, and Dan, I know you're a wine guy as well.
Love wine. It's my favorite alcoholic beverage for sure. I definitely take wine over beer all day. Love wine, so I'm super excited to have.
Why do we got to pick one? We got to pick one. The beautiful thing
I'm picking one. We don't have to. You're right, but I do. I prefer wine over beer.
He's a man of absolutes.
Yeah,
all right.
It is what it is, my man.
Well, for those of you who don't know, I think we've talked about it a little bit here already, which I'm excited about. I am actually in the middle of my Court of Masters Level 1 sommelier training, which I'm very excited about.
Congratulations!
Oh yeah,
I am 23% done with it, which is awesome.
23%.
I've passed all the quizzes so far.
Wow, 23%.
Yeah, it's
a little further off than that. You're talking about this for months.
I know
it's different. I feel like that 50%. I was gonna clap and everything. I'm not clapping.
I know. You're like,
look, it takes time because you can't start it till a certain date because they have certain start dates you can only start on.
Oh,
okay. And then you have to wait for your wine to get delivered. It's not just okay, go, and then you have to wait for them to tell you.
It does take 6 months.
Say again.
So it does take about 6 months.
No. If you actually go take the class, I think the actual class itself is 3 days or something like that. But it's 3 very full 10-hour days to do it. So
what have you been doing?
Well, I have to work. And there's Dave chiming in on Facebook. He says 23%, huh? Yeah, fuck you, Dave. You don't need your opinion here.
I'm sorry. It's not even a quarter. You get that strong quarter. You don't even I got 25%. Well, 23% actually.
Mm-hmm.
Listen,
that's 2 dimes and 3 pennies.
I love how long it took you to do that math. Second of all, I'm gonna be done with it very, very, very shortly. So it's okay. We're gonna have it all set. It's gonna be good. Point being, gentlemen, is that we got a great program tonight. Our good friend G. Patel, the wine slinger, is going to be here tonight here in just a few minutes to talk all about what's going on with this stuff, man. This stuff happening in grocery stores is a whole different topic. I mean, a lot of states across the country have it, but if you look at the amount of wines and different variety of wines that these places, these grocery stores sell, it is tiny compared to our small state of Connecticut here. Their variety is nothing, and G's gonna break it all down. It's terrible for the smaller grocery stores. It's terrible for all the small businesses out there. It's also terrible for the small wineries out there, which I think is really interesting to talk about. And G can break the whole thing down for you. So we're excited to have him on. And when I talked to him, I said, "G, we want to taste the wine too," and he was like, "Let's go." I tell you, G, I think tastes wine all day long. Basically,
that's why I like this guy.
He's in a constant state of wine tasting. And I mean, the G himself's a sommelier, so it was always great to talk business with him and talk wine with him. So excited to have him on the program. Of course, a lot of great times, a lot of great information to be had there. We got lots of fun stuff happening. We're kind of in that little lull right now between doing a food festival and stuff, but I think we're going to be at Mohegan Sun's Whiskey Union. Not sure about the dates on that. That's coming up here really, really soon. It's a fun event. Yeah, they just announced it, and I think we're going to go like we did last year. Remember how I went and did the whole thing?
Yeah, no, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's a fun event too.
Super fun. We drank so much whiskey. I was definitely having to not swallow it by the end of that event.
All right, that's just low hanging fruit, and I'm gonna let it go there.
April 13th.
We got Anthony chiming in on Instagram saying, "I grow through a quarter of the day." Oh wait, that's weed. So he had it confused there on our measurements. That's okay. That's all right. Let's just let that ride just like that. I want to go ahead and bring up here, of course, like every other great radio show on the planet and television program and news program. We have a ticker. Come on, that's the ticker.
All right, yeah.
You know you're legit when you got microphones and a ticker. That's how you know it's all important right there. That's right.
Shit popping.
Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now, our next guest on the program here is a gentleman who, by the way, looks like $1 million tonight. This guy, I mean, honestly, I don't know if his wife tells him this or not, but he's an amazingly attractive human, a genius when it comes to wine, a genius when it comes to business and entrepreneurship, and I call him a superhero. He's out there fighting for everybody's rights. That's what he's doing out there, and he's one of my good friends and a really, really great human to begin with. To even start right there with great human. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the wine slinger G. Patel to the program. There he is.
Hey. All right. What's up, fellas?
How you doing, brother?
How we doing? Great to see you three.
We are doing fantastic. Much better now that you're here. I let you know. I called you, and just to give a quick little synopsis of what's going on and how we got here, because I think it's important to talk about why
how did we get here. Break it down.
How did we get to this point right now? So I got asked to do some TV spots for a group. They were like, yeah, come cook. We're going to pair wine with it. It'll be great. It was in the middle of craziness. I was like, yeah, sure. Love to do it. Great. Whatever. And then it was while we were doing a festival, Jeffy.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up saying, great, I'll do it, whatever. When we finally got settled down, I started researching who the group was. And it turns out it's the group who's advocating for wine in grocery stores. So immediately I called G and I was like, is that who these people are? And he was like, yes, that is a devil incarnate. Stay away from them. Stay away from them. So G said, stay away from them. So I'm not doing the spots because I don't support that. I don't think it's a great thing to have at all. I mean, I have lots of friends who are in the wine business, friends who do business like G does. Yeah, I don't want to not support that. However, as an average consumer, G, putting wine in a grocery store seems to make a lot of sense.
It does. And it's the same exact way that it makes sense to a person. And we just got off a big snowstorm here in the Northeast. So I know some of my analogies here might be a little far-fetched if you're not in Connecticut. So we just got 8 inches of snow, right? You potentially lost some power in your home. It makes a ton of sense to hook your house up to a generator so you can get that fridge going. You can turn some lights on. You can get back to like not living like a caveman, right? Mm-hmm. But what if you're like the average person that doesn't know anything about generators? You just know that they can create electricity for you. You drag that generator into your house, you wire everything up, right? You figure you read through all the diagrams and you know how exactly it should get wired. You feel 100% confident and safe that this is going to be getting you back to at least something close to normal, or at least to what your level of quote unquote convenience should be. You fire up that generator, what happens? You've got an engine running in your living room. You don't want that, man. And unfortunately,
that's exactly
right. But if you don't know anything about generators and you're trying to navigate through this or make a quick snap decision to be able to get yourself back to that point of normalcy or what you feel like should be the appropriate normal for you, and you didn't have an opportunity to become really well versed in the matter, then it's easy to say, yeah, I'll take that electricity. Yeah, I'll take that wine in the grocery store. But here's the deal, man. People are smart. Look at where we are in the world, man. Technology. Look at us. We're on the internet. We're streaming this conversation. You've got a ticker now.
That's right. Right there. That's true. This is the ticker, Jeffy.
I'm saying
no ticker.
I mean, first of all, can we just stop right there? How the show has grown since the last time you were here, right? We have tickers. We have names.
Amazing. It's like,
look,
the production level is top tier.
Trying really hard.
We play funny video clips now of stuff too, like which is hysterical, like the middle of talking.
Do you like hot fudge sundaes?
There you go.
That's amazing.
Well, yeah, but like you said, like the power sounds great to have, but it's dangerous.
If you don't educate consumers to the fullest extent of what's on the line, then it's unfair to ask them to make that decision. I truly believe it is, right? It's like if I'd asked any one of you, hey guys, tomorrow when you're out throughout your day, you want to just avoid paying taxes? You're going to say, yeah, sure, of course. In the business of your day, someone prompts you with that. Wait a second, I don't have to pay 6.35% sales tax at Connecticut when I'm at this place or that place, or my gas becomes immediately cheaper than the guy that's pumping on pump 6 and I'm at pump 7 just because it's me and I chose not to pay the taxes today. Who doesn't want to sign up for that? But the moment there's no schools, roads, or bridges, or all those things are starting to fall down, you say to yourself, you know what? It's worth throwing a couple bucks towards this because I use it and we'll all benefit from it.
Collectively, we all can do that and it'll take care of it.
So when you jump to the snap decision of, wouldn't it be easy if, you always got to pause and question, who's asking me that question? Why are they asking me that question? Where are they asking me that question? Right? So in my opinion, I feel like the low-hanging fruit is, would it be convenient? Well, I don't think so. I don't think so, because think about this now, Plum. If you wanted to go grab a bag of potatoes or some plums or tomatoes, how long would it take you to get to the grocery store versus the closest package store in Connecticut? The package store is probably closer.
I mean, yes, probably for most people, my package store is right next to the grocery store. So I mean, it's
well, that's my package store.
I mean, to my house, you probably got the grocery store about 20 feet.
So I win.
Package store is closer.
So in any given town, usually there's more package stores than there are grocery stores. So you want to try and argue, quote unquote, convenience. I don't know anybody that's struggled to get a bottle of wine in the state that can.
Anywhere. I mean, it's
totally
pretty hard not to be able to find. I mean, I'm with you.
Yeah, of course. Definitely take the sip. And you guys also feel free to chime in, ask questions. G can answer all kinds of questions about this stuff. If you got any points you want to make about this, feel free to chime in whatever social platform you're watching on or listening on. So G, talk about it a little bit though, because honestly, there's Anthony chiming in on Instagram. He says 4 liquor stores between my house and the grocery store. I'm looking at my other computer here. I can see it. 4 liquor stores between him and the grocery store. But isn't that a problem too, though, G? Isn't there too many package stores?
I would say no. You know what determines whether there's too many package stores? If one goes out of business.
Oh, because there's only so many licenses for it. There's only so many. How does that work?
Oh yeah, 100%. So allow me to back that up a little bit. So the state of Connecticut, and it's unique, but state by state. But the state of Connecticut, they issue a package store permit by town. Okay. And it's based off of population. So 1 for every 2,500 people in the state of Connecticut is how they determine the number of package store licenses would be available. So, for quick math, if one of the 169 towns in the state of Connecticut has 5,000 people, they'd get 2 package store permits. If they've got 25,000 people, they'd have 10 permits available. And it's as simple as that. And then from there, you have to get approval from your local town to be able to open up the store where you would propose. So like our store in Newtown, where you shop, Plum, or Dan, you came into the store in Ansonia today. Like, we have to ask the town to have permission to use a package store in that specific spot. But the state would see that we have approval for the use, and the state would issue the permit for us to sell wine, liquor, beer.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay, so we got Chef Dave chiming in on Facebook. Wants to know. He says Michigan is the Wild West when it comes to alcohol. Full-blown liquor and wine shops inside gas stations. How do you feel about gas station wine?
Exactly the same way I feel about supermarket wine. Right? Like, if you're there at that point, you're already making bad decisions.
If you're thinking about buying a bottle of wine from the gas station to have with your death dogs and Funyuns, you know what? Have at it.
Right. Boiled peanuts and what bottle of Cabernet goes with that?
And we got the Vagabond Chef chiming in here. Great to see him around here again. In West Virginia, we can buy beer and wine in grocery stores, gas stations, or wherever. Liquor is sold in drugstores and special liquor stores that also usually sell beer, wine, tobacco, vapes, etc. Yeah, I feel like that's too many places. I mean, I think a lot of places are like that in the country, right? Where they just sell everything in one store.
Yeah, and I think that when you go back and take a look at, the nature and intent of the laws as we see them, right? So I don't know I don't know whether the original writers of Connecticut's liquor law intended to create such a robust marketplace, or whether it ended up becoming something by default of what they wrote. But Connecticut is super unique in the sense that the way the laws were written, it created this opportunity for over 1,300 independently owned businesses to pop up and be able to sell wine, beer, spirits to their customers, right? Let's take a different state, a state where wine is available in grocery stores. Well, what happens is you end up with chains driving the marketplace. So in Connecticut, there's approximately 12 to maybe 15 supermarket retailers, right?
Like the big grocery
big
store
Ys.
sellers, right? Stop and shop, that sort of stuff.
And how many independents really are there? There's not that
Right.
many, right? So today's supermarket marketplace is driven by chains. There's very few quote unquote families, like even like the ShopRites, they're franchises, but you know, each ShopRite does between 50 and 60 million dollars. That's hardly a small business, right? Like these are
Right.
big companies and they've got major backing by the franchisers. So in my opinion, you end up going from a marketplace that's controlled for, let's just for round numbers, say 1,000 people who are running their wine, liquor, beer store, trying to earn your attention and compete for your dollars, versus somebody that tries to become one-stop shop for bread, milk, eggs, magazines, prescription glasses, as well as your prescription medicine. And then also they've got an aisle dedicated to stocking a selection of wine. But they know that they're going to attack the biggest fat on what consumer demand is. And they're not going to put a lot of thought to it whatsoever. In fact, they're going to do there what they do in a lot of other places in the supermarket. They're going to go straight towards, hey, I can go to one or two purveyors and I can have 300 selections put into my supermarket wine aisle. So instead of dealing with the 40 distributors I deal with in a given week, they're going to deal with 2. Mm-hmm. And they're going to say, I want you to just stock my store with all the major categories. I need 3 Prosecco's, 1 for 10, 1 for 15, 1 for 20. That's it. I need 15 rosés in the summer. My stores will carry 60 rosés, 70 rosés in the summer. Yeah. They just know rosé in that time of year is important, and they're going to look for one-stop supply shopping. So what happens?
This is awful.
Well, think about the ripple effect. Let's keep kicking that can down the road.
That's what I'm saying. Like, just as you're saying this, my head's blowing up. I'm like, this is fucking terrible. Like, it's going to kill families, industry. It's going to destroy jobs. It's going to it's going to crush the market completely. Right. I mean, it's like, if it happens, like you're saying, I mean, only 2, I mean, there's only so much 2 distributors can even carry compared to what you were saying, working with 40 different distributors. And I'm sure like the selection is going to change immediately, like incredibly. It's like
100%. The microeconomics on how 1,000 independent retailers end up helping create a robust marketplace where there are over 40,000 unique adult beverage products available to us in the state of Connecticut happen because of that 1,000 independent buyer marketplace. When you shrink that down, you're going to start to see, like a state like Florida is a really good example, right? Florida, everyone knows Florida. Everyone goes to visit Florida at some point in time in their lives or another, right? Florida, they literally have 21 million people. We've got just over 3, right? The size of that state, it's just massive. There's so many people there. We literally have more than double the amount of adult beverage selections that they do. Why is that? Because they are a chain-driven state and we are an independent market state. So let's back that up. You talked about jobs. You talked about like what exactly does it mean for a company like mine when we deal with 40 wholesalers and suppliers versus somebody that's going to choose to deal with only 2 or tops 3. You're going to start to see that all these small jobs of representing those distribution portfolios, representing the winery that person sells, right? So not just the local wholesaler, but the person who sells to that wholesaler that then ends up providing me the service of showcasing the product and getting it ultimately into your hands. Those jobs disappear. So you start to see this erosion in the marketplace of availability, jobs, more importantly, the end of it all, consumer selection. You are going to start to see this marketplace that you have over 35, nearly 40,000 products available to you dwindle down to what? How many? I don't know. I have no idea what it'll turn into. All I know is the reason why we have so many is because of the 1,000 plus independent buyers. The reason why Connecticut is such a great marketplace is because people like me have had to convince you as you're walking in the door that my store is better, that I can do a better job, that I'm going to carry more. I'm going to share like the knowledge that I'm going to try to acquire. The moment you start to pull away that foundation and that platform, what happens in 10 years? You're going to be looking back and saying, man, I wish we never put wine in supermarkets.
You know, and I think it's a great point because, you know, I've been in the store, your stores before, and you or your brother would pull me aside and say, oh, you got to taste this, chef. We only got 4 cases of this. That's all they had. It's all we could get, but this is great stuff. You got to taste this juice and you can't get it anywhere else. And that's all they had. So we got it from them. And it turns out being a great product where you walk into a grocery store or someplace like that. They can't do that with you. They can't talk about it. You can't say to them, you know what I really like? I want a petite Syrah. And they're gonna be like, what is that? Or you're gonna like, give me a beautiful, a cab blend, or hit me with something from, give me left bank of Bordeaux. So it's all Merlot based. They don't know anything about that shit, right? That's the hardest part about it.
Correct. Yeah. When you come into my store and you ask me, hey, I'm making steak tonight. What's a good wine I should go with? I'm going to ask you 2 or 3 questions. Well, what kind of steak are we talking? Are we talking about filet? Are you going New York strip? What are we doing? What's your preparation? Are you doing a sauce with that? Are we doing just a good, simple sear, salt, black pepper, right? What kind of side? Did you make anything to go alongside that? Like, hey, I'm going to pick the wine based off of, and then now I'm going to ask you, what else do you like?
Yeah.
What else do you like in the world of wine? And I'm going to make the right suggestion based off of all of that. And all of that will start to disappear pretty quick. Moreover, Plum, right? And back to Jeff's point, think about the next level of economic impact. So, my family, we have 5 stores throughout Connecticut. We've got the jobs that Jeffy was mentioning, for sure. But we've also got the real estate. We occupy commercial real estate, right? And for whatever reason, adult beverages have always been a challenge for shipping online and buying online. Consumers, for our product mix, overwhelmingly want to be able to walk into a store and shop for it, right? So it's Amazon proof almost, meaning that Amazon failed 3 times, 4 times to get into the wine space because they can't get over this hurdle of like, why do customers want to be able to buy this? It's because it's a product that requires your touch. It's an intimate beverage, right? So to be able to walk into a store, you're going to like that. What happens when there is no investment into the real estate, no investment into those fixtures, no jobs created? But how many times do I call my HVAC guy to come out and service or tune up or fix my coolers, right? When I do open up a store, I need an electrician, I need plumbers, I need people to install the shelves, I need people to do all these things. When the supermarkets talk about they want to be in the wine business, I'm of the opinion of, well, then just go be in the wine business. Just go open up a package store.
There's a great example of that. There's a great example of that here in our town. We have one of our independent grocery stores, Carluzzi's. They have several stores. They're great people. They actually ended up opening their own wine shop in one town over from us. And
they do a great job.
And by the way, that's a grocery store that's also against putting stuff in their stores, isn't it?
I can't say for sure where they sit with it. I know is that they've made significant investments into opening up package stores and wine stores next to their grocery stores. And I say follow that model. So if they made these big investments and now another group of ShopRites of the world and Big Y's and Stop and Shops want to say, let's rewrite the rules in favor of corporate retailers, while in the same swoop of the pen, pull the rug out from underneath 1,300 small businesses who were told these are the rules in which you must play by.
Right.
We play by them, we invest by them, and we stick to them. How is that right?
It's not. It's not right at all.
It's not right. And so
it's not right at all.
Ultimately, it's bad for business. It's bad for jobs. That means it's bad for the local economy. And again, I'm never going to be the guy that says, woe is me, I'm going to lose money. I don't feel like that's the right approach. In my opinion,
right.
My family has found the small modicum of success in business that we have found because we focused on one person only, the customer. What best serves the customer? If I could logically be proven that ultimately this is best for the Connecticut wine customer, then I'd fold. I'd say, okay, well, then that's what needs to happen if that best serves the customer. And then that will give me the best opportunity to succeed because I'll have a smarter customer. And smarter customers will recognize the value I provide. But quite contrary to all of it, what this does is it ends up creating a disservice to the customer. And I say this because the only reason why I'm in this business is because I love wine. I love wine, which is why I'm in this. If I didn't love wine, I would have went and done something else. I don't know what.
Me either. I can't really picture you doing anything else.
But 20-something years of my life are dedicated to this because I love coming home, popping the cork on a bottle, and being able to know why this freaking beverage tastes so fucking amazing.
Maybe solar panel installation. Like you should be like a guy who sells solar panels. I don't know. I'm trying to think what would work. I don't know.
It's good
Dan,
for the environment.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to find out what my boy G drinks on a daily basis, you go check him out on IG, GP Wine Slinger over on IG. He also wants you to go ahead and check out ctwinecustomer.com. Go check them out. They're going to give you some information, all you need to know, and all the stuff we've been talking about,
where it's at,
why this is a bad idea. ctwinecustomer.com. There you go. And it's also, it's like a see-through joint. Put it on my face.
Yeah, there you go. You can't even see it.
Show. Hey,
we call it
ctwinecustomer.com.
Wow, Dan.
They're going to give you all the information you
That's
need.
the plug man right here.
Let's go.
That was solid plugs there, Dan.
That's hard, man.
Well, G, there's so much information to give. I think one of the things I'd like to talk about a little bit here with this, and by the way, shout out to Ergo Chef Knives on Instagram saying, I have to look over my other computer here just so you see I'm not looking at you. I just have to look over here. Large chain stores never have the knowledge. It sucks. That's what he says. And he also says, when you're talking about steak, any steak, provide a Merlot or a Cab, and I'm good, but need to know that's what's the good wine, he says. And I mean, what's the good wine is
the Electric Factory coming in hard.
That is the Electric Factory. Mike Staub chiming in there. I mean, what's good wine? It's all. I mean, that's a matter of opinion, and of course, but I mean,
good wine.
Just know that good wine doesn't have to cost $75-$80 a bottle. Granted, there's great bottles up there, but you can get a great bottle of wine for $20.
Yeah, 100%. And truth be told, that's where Connecticut would suffer the greatest defeat is if wine ends up in supermarkets. You're going to see the bulk of what consumers tend to buy is between $10 and $20. So they're going to focus right in on $15. Yep. And the wine labels that are available at 20 or just over 20 are going to be token at best. And that's what's going to dry up first. That's what's going to dry up the quickest. And more often than not, those products are made by a small family. Those products are made by people who are farming the earth. Those products are made by people who have done it for generations and have a humble pursuit to showcase what the earth underneath them is capable of doing. That right there is the magic of wine. And that right there is what we would lose. This is imagine if we said, I can have an organically grown onion from my neighbor's backyard.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to throw this away. I'm going to take that chemically induced, factory made, God knows what it's been sprayed with onion that just is 3 feet closer to me.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
way, dude. I'll
I'm
walk
just
over to my
thinking of-
neighbor's backyard and get that onion every single time.
Every
I'm
time.
thinking of
Right?
how bad champagne would get. There'd only be like 3 things available.
God, it'd be so
Yeah.
Like every time you went to get a bottle of champagne, it'd be like the the Riuniti level, the Vouv level, and then some astronomical level. There would be no in
Yep.
between, or no like.
Hell, could you even get champagne? Because in order to be champagne, it has to be from Champagne. But it would just all be a sparkling white nonsense.
Well, it'd be like
which
that
is
Asti
crazy.
Spumante. You know what I mean? That'll like.
There'd be a lot of fluff. So that's the other game, right? So this isn't 1980,
Right.
right? In 1980, right? I wasn't even born. I was born in 81. 1980.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that.
Way
by the
Corporate
way.
retail. Yeah, I'm younger than all you clowns.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
And you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Stop whining.
There we go.
Stop whining.
It's so hurtful.
So corporate retail was a phenomenon, right? Back in the 80s, right? Like it was like this amazing experience in American consumerism where we were like, wow, we can go one-stop shopping, and we can go with like this company that ends up providing us with this product mix from East Coast to West Coast. And in many respects, we could say that we've had a positive experience, but in a lot of aspects of shopping corporate retail, there've been a lot of negative experiences, right?
Sure.
And without, retail is my livelihood, so I don't want to necessarily cast any negative aspersions to it, but it presents its challenges when you're dealing with corporate retail environments. And I feel like we've already seen their bag of tricks play out. With any popular profit center, they always end up going the route of creating private label products, right? So a product that might come through normal distribution and supply for like what Jeffy was saying, right? If you want to buy a good bottle of bubbly, okay, you go in there, you're looking for champagne, you're expecting to spend $40 to $50. They're going to have this giant display of this $12.99 something bubbly, and you're not going to have the selection of sparkling wine that you want. And they're going to have every marketing and merchandising material that says, hey, this is just like champagne. This is made with the same grapes. This is made in the same way. And they're going to market you to death with posters, shelf talkers, and signs. And a little tasting person that's going to pour it to you in this little tiny little Chinese Chinette little plastic cup, right? Like that hard plastic, not the crappy plastic, because it's fake champagne. They're going to give it to you in a good fake glass, right?
Good fake plastic, sure.
That's right. We don't want a crappy fake glass, right? None of that cloudy plastic, right? It's that clear plastic. And you're going to get that quick little pour. Someone's going to take a sip out of it, and they're going to be like, wait a second, I came in here, got to buy a good bottle of bubbly. All right, you got one thing for $56. Like, I was looking for something good, but I've had that, but it's just okay. All right, I'll buy this $12 something and then just be out my way. Well, the truth is that $12 something in their store was made just for their 1,000 stores across the country.
Right.
And if it came through regular distribution, it would be a $6.99 product. But you can't price shop it. You can't fact check it, because it was a brand made exclusively for them. And so therefore they could charge for it whatever they want. But if it was brought through independent retail and wholesale, they'd have to charge you on prices because they have to compete. So
that's crazy. I didn't thought about like that at all.
100%, man. 100%.
That's crazy.
Think about how many private label brands you can find in Target, Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, every supermarket you've ever gone to, right? All these places, that's the name of their game. They find all the major profit centers and they convert the name brand consumer to a private label buyer. Mm-hmm. And they do that through offering you value. And they say that there's a value proposition. And they hope that you concede for the lack of quality because of the savings of money.
Do you think this correlates at all with like how food lately has kind of taken that turn to like fast casual, like everything's like it's become more like conglomerate almost. Do you think the consumers maybe a little less educated across the board, so like they just try to like push this sort of like, you know, rhetoric where it's like, hey, it's easy, you know, get it here,
right?
You know, like is that's I mean, I'm just trying to think like why is it a good idea? Like why are they trying to like say like, hey, fucking let's do this. This is great. Like they're like, because like everything we've talked about, it's like they're all red flags. So like why you wouldn't want to shop at that place. You know what I mean? You know, it's like
right, but
like
you know what they'll do is they know that again the average consumer is going to succumb to very fundamental logic, right? Because we're busy, right? Like, I mean, if I've got 3 kids, right? I've got 5 stores I've got to run. All of you guys are busy, right? Like, ultimately, when we try and press upon you that you should become a little more thoughtful about a subject, unless you're naturally inspired by that subject, it's difficult for me to ask that of you, right? For me to tell you that you need to become a subject matter expert in these fundamental areas of your livelihood, unless it is going to impact you in the next 60 seconds, you're like, screw you, dude. I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
Right. So this is what they're preying on, is that human instinct. They're hoping that consumers become triggered over that basic human instinct of, wouldn't it be more convenient? When in actuality, it is a false premise. Someone said it earlier today through one of the comments. They pass 4 package stores before they get to a grocery store.
Yeah.
So how is that convenient?
How's it more convenient? It's not. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
how is it better for the economy at all? Like, I just feel like you just said it, you pack 4 package stores. So you're saying to close 4 package stores, like who is making money off that deal? Like, how is that benefiting the state of Connecticut for them to even consider letting that pass? You know what I mean? Like how is that like? I'm like, who's getting the backdoor boogie on this situation here? You know what I mean?
Sorry,
like,
we'll say like, backdoor boogie.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I love
it. Sounds like a bad movie.
It does. Backdoor boogie.
One person's getting paid,
or maybe it's a good movie. I don't know.
Backdoor boogie.
Yeah,
one person's getting paid. That's what it comes down to.
It's a good bad movie.
Yeah.
Terrible movie.
Listen, you guys, all right, immediately went there. That's an actual term. You could look it up.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm
been drinking wine as well. I don't.
It's one place with an agenda that has they want to have their wine in the store. That's what it comes down to. They want to have control of the wine in Connecticut. It comes down to one group of people that want to control all that. It's just like everything else, like all the other things you talked about. It comes down to a group of people that want to control a significant market. As a point to what you're saying, allowing a large group of people to be able to capitalize, to feed their families, for other people to live, to allow the community to grow. That's the way it should be. But there's always going to be someone who's going to come in and decide that they know what's better for you. They'll tell you what's convenient. They'll tell you all the nonsense they want to tell you. And that's them pushing what they want onto us. And we're here to tell them that shit ain't happening.
I 100%, Dan. That's what I was trying to say earlier about, like, it's not 1980. We don't need to be fascinated by what corporate retail is capable of or what their true intentions are, right? Like,
totally,
they're in business for the cash grab. We get it. And you know what? They should be, because they're responsible to reporting profits to somebody. But that doesn't mean we should allow them to have those profits at all costs, especially when we have come this far and we've learned what the impact is to our local economies. You know, a friend of mine told me, almost a year ago, I can't remember the exact numbers, but hopefully I'll be able to find it at some point in time. When I post it, I'll tag you guys in it. But when you spend money at like a corporate retail store or corporate business, right? About 20 cents in every dollar stays in your local economy. When you spend $1 at a locally owned business, the inverse of that is true.
Oh, wow. 20% goes out to the national. The 80 cents stays in. That's great.
80 cents stays in your local economy. And that means that your neighbor's eating better. That means that they're going out to the restaurant, not to the fast food place, right? Because they don't have to make that decision. They're going to say, I'm going to spend a little extra money, eat better ingredients made by a talented chef. I'm not going to go to this fast casual place that is going to be 25, 30% cheaper, but let's face it, it's not better food, right?
Yeah.
Like they don't have to make those decisions. That all stays here. And it all betters our local economy. It betters our neighbors. It lifts everybody up. And so we know shopping small is important. We've learned that over the course of 40 years of corporate retail destroying small businesses. And what's amazing is we've reached this point where I feel like people recognize it with their food a lot, right? Like there's a lot of folks that I know that are food conscious and maybe not as much as there needs to be, but people who recognize, and I know you on this show and all my conversations and any event I've ever done with Plum, he always takes a moment of pause to bring up the point where buy your food locally. If it's grown local, it's going to be good for you. Don't look for a tag word to be associated to it. Buy it because it's made locally. That's the only thing you need to look for because it will be made responsibly.
And it's probably better. It's probably better. The less hands that touch it, the better. That's how I look at it.
Always.
Yeah. And how about giving money to somebody that you can see? Like, seeing your money actually do work and good in your own community is like, that's priceless, man. To know that like somebody's kid is able to take a lesson or do something cool because you've supported their business is awesome. Like I love that kind of shit. Like I like knowing that like that's part of community. It's part of community living. And I don't know. I think it's I'm a big advocate.
Jeffy's a big community guy. So Dave on Instagram on Facebook has a great. Well, first of all, Ergo Chef Knives on Instagram has chimed in and he says they'd love to do a tasting event to teach people how to buy wine and talk about wine and pair it with food, and we can do it at Ergo Chef Knives.
So a couple of years ago, for my 40th, right? Like I've been talking about, I need to get to Ergo Chef. I need to get to Ergo Chef. I need to go buy some knives. It's one of those things where like you don't go shopping for knives regularly. So I've been talking about doing this.
Well,
and then sure enough, for you should. But my 40th, my brother drops on me this ridiculous set of Ergo Chef knives. Everything like the whole block. Everything from fillet knives, down to the Japanese. I can't remember what these are. The scissors, like he got me the ridiculous wood handles, dude. I don't know.
It's good knives, right?
Those are insane. Plum. We've talked about this a lot. I love cooking in my house. My wife's a great cook. I'm a pretty good cook. My wife's a great cook, but I love screwing around in the kitchen. And it's such a difference when you have a great set of knives. And those Ergo Chefs, game changers.
Yeah,
like I told myself, when am I going to go over? Oh, next time I'm driving by. I'm always driving by when they're closed. And I'm like the type of guy, like I want to go in there. And their website is kick ass. But I've never, like, I just want to see the knife. I want to hold it. That's kind of like who I am. Like the bottle of wine,
Mike.
right?
They'll take care of you. Go see Mike, the Electric Factory Stive. He'll take care of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, my brother drops this block on me. I'm so happy with these knives. I'm so happy.
That's awesome. See, I love to hear it from somebody else too, because I talk about it all the time. I was using fucking expensive ass knives, and then I had expensive ass shuns I used to use until I got my first Ergo Chef. Now I've never looked back. Look, so Dave's chiming in here, and I want to get to a couple of things before we start tasting wine together here in a few minutes. But Dave's chiming in. He says he wants to know on his Facebook, are they closing package stores to allow grocery stores to sell wine? I think that's a very valid question.
Well, so they are not going to quote unquote close package stores, but we're talking about natural economic forces here, right? Marketplace economics. There's only so many consumer dollars that are in the marketplace. And it's one thing if Connecticut was like one of these states that are just blowing up, right? Like, I don't know how many times in your news feed do you hear about population swelling in the South or the Rust Belt or, a place where there's a better tax bracket or tax rate for you. Bro, Connecticut's Connecticut's population is stagnant. We grow very, very slowly. Like what we see in 10 years is what a state like Tennessee or Alabama might see in 6 months. That's how quickly those states grow, right? South Carolina blowing up, right?
Yeah.
We go very slowly. So at that rate, there is no population swell that's going to hide a lot of these dollars that are going to shift, right? Because that's what's going to happen. It's going to be dollars that shift. So what would happen by default is people are going to end up spreading their dollars around to grocery stores and out of package stores. But here's the craziest part to this. When we take a look at the three things that we're allowed to sell in the package store: beer, liquor, wine. Beer is basically sold at cost, right? Our operational cost. By the time we pay somebody to put it on a shelf and or keep it cold, we are losing money. Liquor is going to be about double the margins that we could expect on beer. And so we end up with single-digit percentage points there. Wine is about 50% greater than that of spirits. So without question, wine is the profit center for Connecticut package stores, which is why so many stores have helped try and create this robust marketplace, advocating that consumers drink good wine, and why so many great wines have made their way to Connecticut. Well, once wine gets sold in the grocery store, our biggest profit center is gone. And again, I'm not the type of guy that's going to cry, woe is me. But 1 + 1 = 2. 2 - 1.5 is 0.5. We're going to end up with less profits. So what does that mean? Push come to shove, package stores are going to close.
Right. You're going to lose package stores, of course, for sure. I mean, there's no question about it. By the way, really quick, Jeffy, before you chime in there, Ergo Chef Nice chiming on Instagram says, "Thank you, G. You're welcome anytime. Call me. I'll stay late to let you in." There you go.
Oh, man.
There you go.
My man, small business owner. Every customer matters. Every customer matters.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jeffy, because I got a couple of points I want to bring to G before.
No, I was just like more like giving you gang vocals, like hell yeah, because that was I'm exactly what you were saying.
Did you say giving him gang vocals?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's
Jeffy's
go.
ready to run through the
Bloods.
wall for you, G. He's ready to run through the
Bloods
wall
up.
for you,
Dude. I'm serious. I don't even live in Connecticut, but I fucking hate when I hear that like family businesses are going to get squeezed by a conglomerate. Like I just find that like infuriating, and I find it more infuriating. Like I don't know who's the senator there or whatever Ned. Who's Ned? Is the governor?
Well, Jeff, before you get too
let's
fired
get Ned involved.
But before you get too fired up, Jeff, I do want to point out, and then we can do these questions I've got for G really quick. Couple points. I got some points for the other side. I want to put the points out to G and get them.
All right, yeah, let's do that.
But I do want to point out, G, that this came up to a vote last year, and you guys beat it.
We did, yeah. Thankfully, we were able to, bring together our entire industry, every package store owner, a lot of the suppliers. We got the dub.
Fuck yeah.
There it is.
But it's going to come back. And, these guys have deeper pockets than anyone, like all of us combined, and then some. Add a zero, add 2 zeros.
They were going to pay me to do TV spots for them.
They're lobbying.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. They're out there.
Yeah. And so they're going to try and convince the public that this is what's good for them, because they know ultimately it's what's good for their bottom line and their shareholders and their profit centers. And again, they've got every right to fight for those things because that's what you're supposed to do in business. But I think that if we take the time to slow down the conversation and not rush to a snap judgment, which, let's face it, snap judgments are always the worst judgments, unless, of course, you're in Mexico and there's a bottle of tequila available. But
or Mexican scotch with a bunch of chefs. That's happened.
Mexican
Allegedly.
scotch. That's a new one.
Oh, dude. Was it scotch? It was like a Fedra laced whiskey with a Mexican name in it. I mean, it was fucking wild. And we drank 5 bottles. I don't know how.
I didn't. It's amazing.
Only night of my life.
That's a good snap judgment.
That much. Never threw up. Every other time in my life, I'm called Jeffy Pullover because like everywhere we go, I'm like, no, let me out. I have to. I'm sick.
It's the only time Jeff ever seen me even drunk at all. Sure. A different story itself. So listen, just chime in one time. Ergo Chef wants you to know there's lasers in full effect for laser marketing, for laser engraving. He's now cutting promos because he doesn't want to read it for him, which is a shout out to him. So Ergo Chef Up, they'll engrave whatever you want. They got a laser engraver now. There you go.
Ergo Chef.
Anthony's chopping.
Dude, I gotta bring him down to get sharpened. Oh yeah,
they'll sharpen everything for you. They're great. Yeah. Just go tell Mike. He'll take care of it for you.
And
my wife keeps wanting to go. She keeps wanting to go. She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go," because she works a lot less than I do. She's telling me, she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go down there." And
Whoa, G, don't say that. She hears you say that, she'll get pissed at you. She don't. She works more than
well. What I mean, like work. She's on a clock.
I'm saving you right now.
Like,
I'm saving you. I know your wife. I'm saving you.
She's on the road a little bit more. She's got the ability to get there a little more frequently than so tread lightly. But I'm like, no, you can't go to that store without me. I want to go. I gotta go. If you're going to that store, I'm going to that store because I know you're gonna want something. If you're gonna want something, then I get something.
I like
That's
that.
it right there. And if you go over there and use promo code PLUM, you'll get you'll get a great discount on an already great product. So anyway, here we go. So I've got a couple of notes here that are some facts for the other side, right? The other side that I'm sure you can't see it on my phone here.
Nope, we can't see it. It looks not disturbing.
I just want you to see that I do have notes though. That's all.
It just looks like a light.
All right, Jeff.
Plum's prepared.
Yeah, white screen. I'm a homework doer. So now he's texting me too. Mike goes, colors with lasers. So cool. Would you stop? So check this out. So I've got a couple points on the other side. Ready? These guys. This is what I deal with here. You see what I deal with? This is
just keep going.
Hopefully you're drinking. That's the only way to.
Well, I started sipping this. We're going to talk about it in a minute. I know Dan and Jeff.
I am almost gone with this. I'm like, it's so good.
Hold on.
It's awesome, isn't it?
So, Connecticut state taxes in the case of cooperative marketing would net $1.7 million a year in 2023 through 2044, increasing to $3.6 million per year in 2045 to 2080. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, it does. I think somebody paid for a study to have a favorable outcome. Ooh. Imagine if I paid you,
right?
Imagine if I paid you to make me a delicious meal just so I can have you pay me pay you again. Could you imagine how that works? Oh, wait a second. So you bought something that was meant to taste good to me?
Right. Well, speaking of payroll, Anthony on Instagram says, put me on the payroll. I'll slow down their big business. So there you go. He'll take care of you if you need something. He's got
I like that, Anthony.
He's got you covered. Okay, well, how about this? So allowing grocery stores to sell wine returns it to its traditional role as part of a meal, encouraging healthy consumption and increasing consumer choice. I don't think that's true.
Well, so we can take a look at how grocery stores have behaved in other parts of the market, right? Where wine is available. I'm going to give you a really good example. A couple years ago, I was down in Georgia, my in-laws, right? They were having some type of function. I think it was a sweet 16. I can't recall what the function was. I'm sorry, but it was like hey, we got to get down there. We got to go to this thing, and we got to be there for 2-3 days. So we pull in. We're like, at my in-laws' house, and of course they're like, hey, you're here. I know you like to cook. I know you like to eat. What are we gonna eat? What are we gonna drink? Let's go. We're waiting for you to get here before we prep anything. And I'm like, great. So I came down here and I got to cook. All right, let's go. So we go to we go shopping. We get salmon, right? We get some shrimp. We get some lamb. We're gonna do all sorts of different food, right? Because it's a lot of family and everyone wants to eat good, and we're celebrating. There's a momentous occasion going on in the house, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the guys ends up owning a liquor store, and he says, "Hey, we'll go to my liquor store and we'll just go get all the booze and everything there." I'm like, all right, great. And as I'm walking out the house, of course, my wife, Jules, Chef, you've met her. She's like, hey, just make sure we get some good wine, because nobody here really drinks that like really good wine like me and you will. And again, that does not translate to expensive. That just means well thought out producers, wine with some type of deliberate approach to what they're trying to produce.
Mm-hmm.
So I go into this guy's liquor store, and it's a very nice store. He's got this really awesome selection of craft beer. He's got this really awesome selection of booze, tequila, whiskey, rum. And then I go over to his wine section, and I'm like, bro, what's up with this?
Yeah.
You got this great store. Like, I look outside, this is all like really, really nicely developed, like right outside of Savannah, Georgia. Like, this is a great up and coming neighborhood. I'm seeing people driving nice cars. All the houses look beautiful. Like, this is what you sell here? What's up with this? He's like, oh, I don't try and sell wine. Why would I do that? I'm like, there's people all around you with seemingly, good jobs and good incomes. And like, it seems like this would be like the prime spot for it. He goes, no, the supermarket across the street, they sell the wine. He's like, I could try and put more in, but it'd never sell. Wow. So I said, oh, okay. Okay. I tell you what, you guys are smashing and grabbing all the booze and the beer. I'm just going to cross the parking lot. I'm going to go over to the supermarket and buy wine. I hope, don't take any offense. The guy's like, I don't care. No big deal. So I go to the supermarket, and of course I find their aisle dedicated to it. And it's warm, it's hot. We're going to be cooking fish. There's some red meat. I'm thinking to myself, we're here for 3 days. I got to walk out of here. And you figure other people are going to have glasses of wine. I got to walk out of here with 6 bottles of wine minimum.
Easy.
Right? Just to cover everyone's bases, get a little variety. I'm looking at this wall of just garbage. Like, you're talking about wines that I wouldn't serve to people I didn't like.
Wow.
Like, there's like no good select. And then you're like, all right, well, what do I do now? Now I'm like, all right, well, I could come to this, Kroger, or I think it was a Kroger or a Publix. And I'm like, well, I could buy something here and these guys get the money. Or I just go right back over to this guy's place and like, I'll just choose from what he's got. Yeah. And I'd rather give him the money. And I go over there and I tell him, I'm like, that literally their selection is dog crap over there. They've got nothing, like nothing that's worth anything. Like, yeah, quick grab. Okay. But based off of what we're cooking, the fact that I want to be able to put out something, again, not terribly expensive. I'm talking about $15 to $25.
Sure.
Like even good juice at $15. Everything there was a private label at $15. I didn't recognize a single producer plum.
That's crazy.
I'm a certified som. I've been doing this for 20 years plus. I didn't recognize a single producer at $15.
That's insane.
Do you know what that means to me? They're all factory wines.
Yeah.
They're just slapping on a label for whoever wants it. Oh, if this is going to Germany's supermarket, this is going to China's supermarket, this is going to California's supermarket, this is going to Georgia's supermarket.
Wow.
Send it to them.
Wow.
And I'm like, I can't buy anything here because I don't know anything here. But if you're the average consumer, what do? Do you revolt? No. Because it's happening to you in the snap judgment of your day that you need a bottle of wine. It's happening to you while you're in your never-ending routine of things to get done, trying to get home, survive your day successfely, and be able to put a good meal on the table, and then hopefully have a glass of wine at the end of it all. You're just gonna settle.
Yeah.
You're just gonna grab it and go. So I went on a pretty big tangent there, but hopefully that answers the question.
It does. It did. But it leads me to ask you: is there a good boxed wine?
Jesus, Jeff. Actually, there are some brands who are putting stuff.
I'm serious. I'm just wondering about that. I feel like 100%. You might know this answer. It's a
vrac. It's hard. Like it's impossible for me to get with consistency.
Really?
Because it comes in small quantities and it goes out pretty quick. It's sold by a super small wholesaler. Talk about a super small wholesaler. These guys literally are probably like a 3-4 man operation in Connecticut. They're nationwide in terms of bringing in a small portfolio of products and selling them across the United States. They're based in Connecticut. This is a cool success story. Village Wine Imports. These guys are based in Connecticut and legit, they're supported by Connecticut enough where it helped them build a national footprint to sell to independent retailers all across the country. Cool. And they've got this really cool product called VRAC. V-R-A-C. V-R-A-C. And it comes in a rosé, comes in a red, comes in a white, and it's delicious. And it's like $27.
Yeah, however I get some, I'll buy it.
I'm in.
I got it. Well, when I
be the
have
summer drink.
We try and load up on it. It's got a rosé. The rosé is banging. Like, I don't mean like a little bit. Like, this is poolside coiffure. Like,
shit.
Hanging around. Oh, yeah. Poolside deliciousness.
Nice.
And everybody, like patio pounding. This is what this stuff is.
Dude, that was a band we had a little while ago. Me and Jeff and Dan. We were starting a hip hop group. We called it Patio Pounding.
Yeah, and the album Backdoor Boogie was the name of the album. Yeah, the Patio Pounders.
Backdoor Boogie.
It was a real thing.
All right, look, last one, and then I want to taste this wine with you. In the state of Tennessee, there was less than 600 retail, and this is on their website, right? So that's where I'm getting this from. There was less than 600 retail package stores before the 2014 law was passed to have them in grocery stores. After a 3-year moratorium ended in 2021, the number stood at 691. Today, Tennessee has 740 liquor stores, a 26% increase over a decade ago. Now, in my brain, I read that, and I'm like, well, yeah, because the population is getting higher too, right? So you got more space, or putting in more liquor stores. In general, like there's more stores for everything. But you're not necessarily increasing people's revenue when it comes to that. That's where I go with that, G. Am I wrong?
Well, I gotta say that I am impressed that you threw that at me. That's certainly a good line from them. And I'm not saying I'm not saying, yeah, you gave me those softballs today. That's for sure. So I feel like statistically, it's not intellectually dishonest. It's probably true. But what they fail to mention is the exploding, and I don't mean growing at a good pace, the exploding population in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Totally. How do we know population didn't grow by 35% and package stores only grew by 26%?
Great point.
What are those numbers?
Great
where
point.
did where did those 26 package stores that opened? What was the average per square footage size of a package store a decade ago? What is the average per square footage size of a package store now? What is the average employee count of a package store 10 years ago? What is the average package store employee count now? Well, if we start to say we're going to look at Tennessee, well, then let's look under Tennessee. Let's look at all of it. Let's pay attention to every detail that's measurable and try and find out whether the true economic conclusion to this is gain or the fact that some ugly truths are hidden by a growing population.
This is a smart motherfucker right here, Jeffy.
You're dropping jewels tonight, G. Dropping jewels.
Telling you.
Great answer. That's exactly right. Nashville was #1 in population growth over the last 3 years.
Just amazing.
Just so you know, yeah,
because everyone wants to go there. It's fun. It's warm.
Slap the plugs on them. Slap the plugs on them. Damn, do it for me.
Absolutely. Let's get them a banner so we can. There we go. Big G representing CT, doing big things. He got 5 spots you can go check out all over CT. You should go check him out on IG, GP Wine Slinger, my man, and go check out ctwinecustomer.com. They're going to give you all the information we've been talking about, everything you want to know about why this is a terrible idea to bring wine into the everyday convenience of a grocery store.
Yeah.
It might sound on face surface as a good idea, but I promise you it's going to hurt you in the long run. So check it out. If there's another vote, make sure you're there. Make sure you speaking up against it, because fuck them guys.
Well, if it comes up, we're gonna make a big deal about it here, and we'll make a biggest deal possible about that shit.
Absolutely.
All right. So let me ask you a question. Let me ask you guys a question.
All right.
What like go back? I mean, you guys sorry to drop the age reference. You guys are a little
you do it
older than
again?
me, not much. But think about this. What did a grocery store mean to you when you were watching 80s movies? What did a grocery store mean to you when you think of now where you go shop? Do you shop at a grocery store or do you shop at a supermarket? Which one do you shop at? Are there more grocery stores or are there more supermarkets? So even this little detail, I feel like is important. And the reason why I say this, I think a grocery store is going to have somebody that is there, attentive, can talk about the produce, can talk about the butcher department, can talk about where the seafood's coming from, can talk about a lot. And I'm not saying that in broad generalization that there's no supermarket that does this well. What I can say, though, is if you go to an independent butcher, if you go to an independent seafood monger, you're going to find a dramatic difference in quality and ability to help you versus those other outlets. I know this, and I don't want to say the specific store that it was, but I walked into a supermarket, and of course I work crazy hours, but I walked into the supermarket, I don't know, 8:30, went to the seafood counter. I don't think that's crazy late. Walked up, and the seafood case was still out. There's nobody there. And I'm like, all right, dude, I need to get like just this like little bit of like salmon I think I was shopping for. And you're like, all right, well, who do I get now? What do I do? Like the seafood's out, but now I need that behind the glass and there's nobody standing here. So now I'm going to go ask for help. And then, you know, the person that I ended up finding that ended up getting me the help was annoyed that I was even asking them for the help for seafood because they don't do seafood. Yeah. They don't do seafood.
I'll go cut it myself. Just let me go back there.
Right.
Called out.
Dude, imagine if I asked them to skin it. I remember saying, don't even ask them to skin it. I'll go home tonight. I will skin it myself.
Yeah.
I'll just do that. It'll be easier. Now, I would have otherwise asked them to do it if there was the official seafood monger back there.
Sure.
But this is a supermarket that I was in. It was not a grocery store. It is not a purveyor of food or ingredients that they can talk to you about, deal with, or handle in a manner that affords them the moniker grocery store.
All right, Jeffy. I think that's a fantastic point. Grocery store and supermarket. Think about that when you go shopping this week, friends, for sure. Jeffy, what do you got? Let's taste this wine together, Jeffy. Come on. I want to taste this wine.
Dude, I'm tasting this one.
I know you are, but I want you to talk about it, not you.
Oh, I'm like, this is a fantastic wine. When you put me on the dictionary, awesome? You want me to talk about it, I'll tell you all about this wine.
Well, tell me what you're tasting, dude.
Well, let's talk about what we're tasting first. So, G, you picked the wine for us to taste here. Let's get into it a little bit here. It's getting late. You picked the wine for us to taste here. Dan put the picture of it right here. Talk about this. What you tell me? What are we tasting? Where is it from? It's Italian, right?
Yeah, exactly. So from Italy, right? When we think of Italy, we often think about the glitz and the glam spots of like Tuscany, Piedmont, right? Emilia-Romagna tends to have a lot of good food culture. The wine culture hasn't quite caught up. But we hardly ever talk about Sicily that much. And to be honest with you, Sicily is killing it right now when it comes to wine. They've always killed it with food. The wine is spot on. Specifically, though, if you go back 20 years ago, people were talking about Nera di Avola. Well, about 10 years ago, there's been this massive shift in terms of the worldwide attention in what's happening in Sicily. And it's focused in and around Mount Etna. So you see on that label there's that topograph picture. That literally is like an aerial black and white sketchogram. I don't know what you call that shot of Mount Etna.
Sicily. Oh, that's Etna.
Correct.
Is that Etna? Yeah.
Yeah, that's Etna. And so essentially you're talking about this really super active volcano, right? That is in Europe, super high elevation. You're talking about this really cool spot where some amazing wines are being made. This happens to come
a microclimate, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Microclimate. So high elevation, lots of volcanic soils. This is a producer by the name of Tenuta Toscante. And it's like a property that's owned by a larger winery called Tasca di Alamerita. Tasca is great. Like they are one of the original purveyors of really high quality wine in all of Sicily. And Sicily is a pretty big island and there's different wine styles made all throughout. It's originally famous for Marsala, which, have either of you guys ever made chicken Marsala?
Of course. Maybe once.
Right? So Marsala comes from Sicily. And so that's originally the fame of the island in terms of exports. But again, this has become the new face of Sicilian wine, in my opinion, is these really nervy red and whites. And I call them nervy, right? So this is a grape called Nerello Mascalese. It literally translates to black gravel. That's where this wine is grown in, from that volcanic ash soil. And you've got this really awesome color. Like, look at this, right? So, we were talking about doing something that would be a little inspiring for spring, right? When I think of spring, I think of like really good combinations between bright and earthy food, right? Like you're kind of coming out of winter, right? Like I'm good with vegetables, but I also want citrus, right? Like I'm good with like strawberries and any berry fruit that's starting to ripen or come around. Like I'm looking for flavors like that. And so I could also end up with like, again, tuna tacos, right? I could do this with tuna tacos. I could do this with split pea soup. I could do this with like some type of salad that has got
Fucking
like
burger.
Kale. Yeah, kale.
Oh, dude. Yeah,
Kale
right. Like
would be
heavy,
good, yeah.
earthy, funky.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. I love
Barbecue.
the kale call.
This would go great with
Yeah.
barbecue. I feel like too smoky food. I feel like this is a good smoky food. It reminds me of Rioja, like for some reason, like when I was
So the
tasting it.
smokiness in the wine would match beautifully with the smokiness in the food, right? Like there's this beautiful
Yeah.
dusty minerality that comes along with it. So this is 100%, like I said, of a grape called Nerello Mascalese. When we look at this, it pours like Pinot.
That's what I thought at first.
Gorgeous.
It pours like Pinot Noir. When you swirl your glass, stick your beak in there. Dude, this wine at this point in my glass has been open for a good hour and a half.
Yeah.
It's bursting. It's got strawberry, cranberry, rhubarb. It's got white flowers. There's this beautiful, like crushed mineral component to it that to me kind of binds it all. And there's almost like this faint element of spiced orange peel to it that to me is just beautiful. It's bouncy. It's assertive. It's not afraid to get into your nostrils. At the same time, it's very nuanced. It's suave. It's svelte. It's not like bowling you over with aroma, but it finds a way to just penetrate from all these angles, right?
Dude,
and then on
this
the
is a great
palate,
bottle of wine.
dude, it's insane. It's insane.
It is insane.
So
It
I'm
is
getting
really,
a lot
really
of
good.
the minerals really come through to my nose. I'm putting it in here. Minerals, and then I get a little bit of that oak, right?
Yeah, you definitely get some oak. This wine goes through some Slovenian oak. It's not a tremendous amount, so it's just enough to offer some structural support and some oxidative qualities to the wine. So they age it for oh God, I if I'm not mistaken, this is like 20 to 24 months in Slovenian oak. And so Slovenian oak is going to be like larger oak casks. It's not small oak casks. It's not meant to be an oaky wine as much as it's meant to help add a little bit of supportive structure. This wine is
people don't know the oak. What oak does to a wine is it adds that little background hint you might get of especially a red wine like this. I mean, like little hints of like that nutmeg, that cinnamon, that kind of background musty kind of wet rock situation. I feel like comes from a little bit of like good oak in there, especially old oak.
Also, when
The
you
oak in
deal
the
with
nose,
varietals
for sure.
that tend to be super tannicky,
yeah,
and Nerello Mascalese can be tannic. It's not super tanniny, but it can be very tannic. Or it can be
just don't know that the word tannin means it makes your mouth feel like it's drying out a little bit when you take sips. That's what tannins are.
Yeah, tannic
exactly.
acid.
And when you end up aging it in wood, it really kind of softens those tannins and it builds on them. It also helps really soften the acids in the wine to make them a little more integrated in with the tannins and the fruit. So, that's an oxidative approach to winemaking, and this wine goes through that oxidative approach versus stainless steel, where it would kind of, we'd call reductive. It helps push that brightness, that funkiness. It helps to push a lot of those things. This helps soften all of it.
Yeah, it really does. It's totally soft. It's great. And you're getting some of those dark fruits in there too. Like the more and more I'm getting into it, I'm getting some of that plum. I'm getting some of that, like blackberry kind of going on, but it's very, very subtle in there. And I'll tell you what an easy drinking wine. What a great like Wednesday night bottle of wine, Thursday night bottle of wine.
Thursday night.
Jeff, what do you think of this wine?
I think it's incredible. I mean, I don't usually put wine down like I've put this wine down. Like I usually sip wine and then I drink great wine every night. I work for a really, really generous individual who loves me, and he gives me great glasses of wine every single night all over the world. This wine hits all the flavor markers for me. It's not too heavy where it overpowers my palate. It's very
lightness to it.
clean.
I love the lightness to it.
It's very clean. That the tannins that you were talking about are there, which I like, but it doesn't give you that burn. It's like clean is the only thing I can think of. It really, when you said cranberry, it like blew my mind open.
Yes,
because it's exactly how like a cranberry, kind of like the way it's dry, but a little sweet, and the tannins of it. It's like it's very, very, very clean, and I love it.
What would you pair this with, Jeff?
Like I was saying before, honestly, when I'm drinking it, I'm like thinking, wow, you can put so many different things with it. Like, I mean, it could be fish. It could be. I honestly, I love the idea of cooking anything over wood and then drinking this.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like anything, whether it would be fish or whether like just kissing it on the barbecue, a bunch of vegetables, giving like a real open fire a meal,
Yeah,
and
it's a lot
then
of
pouring
flavor.
this wine with it, I think people would be really happy.
Yeah. Dan, how about you, man?
Getting a
Oh, sorry,
touch of that
G, go
smoke
ahead.
to match that mineral, right? That's what you're talking about, Jeffy.
Yeah, totally.
I agree.
Yeah, Dan, what do you think, man? You've been tasting it. What are you into it? You digging it?
It's really good. I am much more of a in your face like red, and this is actually incredibly nice. It's almost I don't want to say like rosé, but just the way it hits, it's so all over the palate. I feel it. I'm really a full mouth feel. I like how it's super elegant. The cranberry is definitely there. I love the flavor of it. I love how the tannins just kind of sprinkle on my tongue. They don't overpower everything, and I definitely feel like it's a perfect something that would go really well with a lot of different things. You talking about food? I think like a roasted chicken with some. I'm kale. I don't know why kale is hitting me with that earthiness. That
it's
kale
earthy
has.
mineral. Yeah,
I think
I
would be
dig
really
it. I
good with
know.
it. With like some
I think you're
polenta, like
spot
some
on.
cheesy polenta.
Kale or
Something about, like
beets?
cheddar or something. I think that cheddar flavor would go really well with
Bro.
this.
Just hearing
this
you
wine as
say
well.
that right now, I want to take kale, I want to blanch it, okay? Then I want to lay it out. Then I want to take beets, I want to roast them. Then I want to take them back over. I want to shred some other vegetables. I want to take goat cheese and cheddar. I'm going to lay it in the kale. Then we're going to roll it. We're going to tie it off, and then we're going to put it in direct heat next
old
to
Jeffy
oak
90
wood.
steps.
Oak wood, right? And that's going to bring it up to total heat. We're going to slowly turn it next to that wood and crisp the outside, but the inside's going to get melty with all those vegetables. With this, I'm telling you right now, we'd win a fucking award if we got together and we got.
Bro, what are you doing tomorrow morning?
Be
over tomorrow. What are you doing?
I mean, you guys, I feel super inspired just hanging out and drinking and when he said that, when Dan said the kale, it just made my mind to start like really popping with ideas of like. I mean,
I got a feeling this is gonna be. I got a feeling this is gonna be the most enlightening thing to this whole thing. And this is a great bottle of wine here. And 2 questions, G, when it comes to this wine, and it's the questions that everyone's gonna want to know. They're asking on Instagram. How easy is it to find? Number 1, and how much does it cost a bottle? And I have a feeling that it's gonna be a shocker to people.
So it's $23.
Wow. That's amazing.
Wow, really? Okay.
Which, by the way,
And
if you have a grocery store selling wine, you're not going to get this.
Nope.
No, you definitely aren't. You definitely are. And yes, it should be relatively easy to find. It is imported by a small family importer, and it is a family-owned property.
Hey.
But they are a decent sized property. They're not small. They're not super small. They're not conglomerate size either. But they're a pretty prominent winery. They're definitely a major contributor to Sicilian food and wine. And of course, you could find it in a lot of markets throughout the United States.
Yeah.
Our stores, obviously in Connecticut, our 5 locations sell it. But it's great juice. It's really good juice.
And $24 a bottle. That's a great bottle of wine. $24? Are you kidding me? Like, what a killer bottle of wine for $24.
Right.
I mean,
so this to me, the reason why I wanted to pour it is because the range, right? Like, legit, the acid hits you. There's this judicious amount of tannin. Like, you could have this with a hearty meal. You could have this with a more elegant meal. You can have this with, right? Like, you could have this with cheeseburgers. You could have this with, a seared piece of salmon. Like,
or truffle
pasta. You
pasta.
can have this. Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Truffle pasta.
My man Dan, he was doing truffle pasta demo earlier. But but seriously, something heavy like that, even like a pasta with a heavy sauce, like this would cut through that acid. It's fantastic for that. This also very, very good for a burger. It's so light and simple and great for the summer. I mean, a wine like this too, which I think is really important to tell people, G, like, you don't serve this at room temperature, right? You need to be a few degrees colder than room temperature. You don't want to give most red wines shouldn't be at room temperature. Be a few degrees colder than room temperature, and I think that's kind of a bit of a misconception.
Basement temp.
This is what the Psalms and the snobs will say is cellar temperature.
Yeah.
So
or Dan just said basement temp.
Basement temperature.
Yeah, basement temp. Yeah, 100%. Pull it out of your basement. Pull it out of your basement. And it should be, I don't know, 55 to 65 degrees in that basement, no more than, right? Like, depending on the time of year. So if you can pull it out 55, 60 degrees on the average, yeah, it's going to have that pop. It's going to have that aromatic intensity. It's just going to scream out of the glass.
Yeah.
At the same time, that acid is going to be just, I mean, it's going to hit just right.
God damn, G, this is fun. We should do more wine tastings together. This is awesome.
Mushroom polenta.
Yeah, man.
Oh, shit.
Hell yeah.
This is great. I mean, literally, it's such a great bottle of wine. I highly recommend it. You got to go find it. It's delicious. I can ask Jeffy, but his bottle's already empty.
No, listen, this is a great bottle of wine. And you know, the other cool thing is it's from
strong.
Sicily, Mount Etna. You know, Mount Etna, that's where Medusa, like in mythology, she's the matriarch of Sicily. She lives under Mount Etna. She lives in the mountain. It's like this. It's a really magical place. So the fact that there's wine being grown there too, it's like it's kind of cool. It's like there's a lot of cool like history around the whole island of Sicily. I know that's a little side note. Interesting.
I love that. Thank you, Kenny.
It's all happening.
You are
right
a wealth
now.
of knowledge, my friend.
Right. I have a tattoo of Medusa on my arm. I'm Sicilian, so I just know a little bit about Sicily.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. That's cool.
Yeah,
And
so
of course,
I was
if you
really
look
happy to see a Sicilian wine. Yet you don't ever really see great Sicilian wine. So it's
That's
like
true.
this is like
Bro, it's meant
mind
to be-
blowing to me that it's this delicious of a wine from Sicily. Usually, I mean, there's great wine all over Italy, but just not. I mean, God bless.
Nobody talks about Sicilian wine. It's difficult.
Exactly.
No, you don't hear about a
find.
lot. No, you
Right,
don't hear
yeah,
about that a lot.
Exactly.
If someone, if you ask,
I have the
if you ask
cinnamon-
somebody in a wine,
You know that cinnamon liqueur that comes from Sicily, from the mountain. It's covered in like lava rocks. It's called Etna. I can't remember. It's like a real famous. It's from Sicily. Everybody who goes to Sicily comes back and gives me a bottle. It's crazy. It's delicious.
Yep. And it's so the cinnamon liqueur. Well, so what I was gonna say is that you ask somebody for something from Sicily when it comes to wine, and most people are gonna say, "Here's some Marsala. What are you making? Veal or chicken?"
Marsala.
Marsala, exactly.
I do want to point out too, and we first talked about this, G, before you joined us in the green room. Jeffy was like, 2020. Oh, that's that COVID wine. I was like, you gotta be careful. You catch COVID from this. You gotta be careful.
I don't think they had it in Sicily though, didn't they? They were kind of like isolated from everything.
Or they just didn't give a shit, because that's pretty much how Sicilians roll. They're just like,
anyway, a great
smoking
bottle of
kills.
wine.
They're like, does it?
Right there on the screen, right there. Check this bottle out. Go get it. Shout out to our good brother right here, G. Dude, you're awesome, dude. I always love hanging out with you, man. You're such a good dude. We should do dinner here at some point.
Dude, I know, like,
I mean, just
we've all been busy.
hang out and have dinner together.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's been it's been a long time. I've gotten very busy. You're like Mr. Everywhere. Like the three of you guys, whenever I follow your socials, like I feel like you guys are all over the place, always busy with something. But we got to slow things down every now and then and just like break it down, pop the cork, and maybe even do it like on this stream. Maybe just do like, dude, set up a camera, do it on the stream, and just watch us chew literally the fat and drink some wine.
I love this.
Anytime. Absolutely.
I love this
anytime.
idea.
Absolutely.
Ergo will host us. Ergo already said they'd host.
Bro.
Ergo Chef Knives. We'll go over there.
We'll use my Ergo Chef Knives in my house, and everyone can see like how amazing they are. And we can ask Ergo Chef, like the guys, to come down and like literally just hang out with us while we actually like
leaving the house.
Or we'll do it at your store, so because you can sell things nationwide. So we'll do it at the store, and people can buy the wine right from us from the stream.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
That's what's up right there. G, you are awesome, brother. I always appreciate your time. However we can help this fight whenever it needs to go down, I got your back. So I'm there for you. And like I said, when I got that invite to go do this, you're the first person when I found out what it was, I reached out to just to make sure I wasn't crazy. And I appreciate your time, man. Seriously.
Well, so you know what? The thing that really resonated with me, Plum, we've always had a great relationship.
Absolutely.
And I don't want it to it goes without saying that we've got a great relationship. But you do always ask me a lot of questions. You have been front and center with saying, well, look, I want to be more informed about this. Can you tell me what you think? And you've always come at me hard for everything that you feel like we need to. No, Not at all. Not
Never
like
been
one
on
of
a road
those
trip with
sites
them.
that Jeffy was
Not
talking about
not
earlier.
a porch
None of
pounder
those.
or a backdoor boogie hard. But,
no,
but different.
definitely not. But you do ask tough questions and you want to be informed, and I appreciate that. And we had like legit like an hour-long conversation.
We did.
And that was you going back and forth, telling me your thoughts and your opinions, and me trying to break down what I believe to be the true outcomes of what would happen if this passed. And ultimately what it comes down to is that I love the fact that you've been diligent about this. It just shows to me, something. It reconfirmed to me how true of a real dude you are. Like you are 100%. There's no BS in Plum,
dude.
God
I
bless
appreciate you. It's awesome. We got your back no matter what. We can, and trust me, we can make a big fucking deal about shit and be very loud. So,
well,
I
know if I know anybody's got the power of the mic, it's you.
Don't make Plum call Ned.
Yeah, it's true.
Don't make him call Ned.
I did. It was during the pandemic.
Chef calling.
During the pandemic, I talked to another chef buddy of mine. I don't want to give anybody his name out or anything because I haven't asked if I could say it out loud. They were trying to make sure they could get alcoholic drinks to go, and the state was like, "No, we can't do that." And I ended up reaching out to the governor, and I was like, "The fuck is wrong with you, man?" I was like, they need something. Give them something. And he was like, "Oh, I think it's legal, or I think they can do it." I was like, "No, they can't do that. They can't." And he was like, "Oh, well, we'll fix it." Okay.
Well, see, that's the perfect example, right? Like that right there is a perfect example of like, oftentimes a lot, and it's easy, right? Like it's easy to understand why and how a lot of our elected officials don't know the true depth of what's going on.
Absolutely.
So in my opinion, if you're a restaurant, pandemic hits, bro, you should be able to sell every goddamn thing under the sun.
Anything.
To be able to pay.
You want to buy a
rent.
booth? I got a booth for sale. Buy yourself a booth. Like absolutely, whatever we got to do to keep them here.
So long as people are safe and protected, and it
go.
falls within some type of like understandable purview of what their intelligence is and their competencies are, then why would you stop them from doing that? Like
it makes no sense.
Totally,
dude. If I owned a restaurant, I'd be looking to sell everything I possibly could.
Whatever.
And you know what?
Exactly.
I'm glad to hear, and I didn't know that. That's the first time you've shared that with me.
It wasn't public.
Live on the air.
It's a couple years ago at this point, but I didn't make a big deal about it. But yeah, we raised hell about it. I raised holy shit about that, and I was like, we're gonna lose these people. You don't understand? We're gonna lose them. We need your help. You've got to let this happen. I mean, it's not a big deal, but it's something.
It was really
dude,
serious.
it's a massive deal. Creating a profit center that did not exist for an industry that is in desperate need of profit centers. Well,
we needed something. And by the way, thank you, Frazier. I see you on Instagram. He says, Plum is a man. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. I haven't seen you in too long, but I appreciate the kind words. Gee, shit, we can hang out here and drink with you the rest of the night. This is awesome. But I appreciate you, brother.
Fuck yeah.
You know what I'm doing tomorrow, G? I am taking my
doing?
daughters for the first college visit. How about that?
What?
Where?
Dude, I remember they were like that tall, going to the store and like
they come
super
in with
sassy, super smart.
Yeah.
Like, they clearly take after their mom.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, so we're taking it's kind of a college visit to kind of just, get the feel of going to do college visits. We're going to Lafayette tomorrow in Pennsylvania. We're leaving tomorrow morning.
Hell yeah.
We're going to go see that school and do a tour, but I haven't done any of those. It's our first one, so we're going to go do it. And I don't know if they actually care to go there, but it's the experience of doing the college tours because, like you said, I got smart kids. Apparently, they are fucking, the honor roll, all the other shit. So, Frazier says, I work in college admissions. Hit me up. Yo, Frazier, I appreciate you, man. I might actually do that. But
that's the phone call you need to make.
I know. We're like, hey, Frazier, what's up? We all got kids going to college this year.
Yeah, right.
College boy.
But yeah, crazy, man. I mean, like I said, my kids. I was one of the first people in your store. Like,
dude, I don't think we were actually open yet. I think you pushed the door and you were like, I need to buy some wine. I'm like, yes, sir. What can we sell?
Right. I'll get you whatever you want, man. I'll get you whatever you want.
That's right.
Hey, my wife's going in the store now. She came back today with it. She gets this bottle of bubbles, Italian bubbles. And it's not like expensive wine. It's a great fucking Monday night, Tuesday night bottle of bubbles if you want. It just says good fucking bubbles. That shit's delicious.
100%.
It's delicious.
Yeah, 100%. And you know what? That brand, we're selling it like wildfire. It's hilarious. And you know what? They nailed two things. First thing, when you're trying to sell a product, get a good name.
Yeah.
You'll get the first sale every single time.
Yep.
Put a good product inside that package. Oh, you got repeat business. And that's what they've got. That's what they've got. So they've got a really good name, and they actually took the time to put good product inside the bottle. And
it's great.
Successful as a result of it.
Listen, I'm not going to buy it for like a special occasion. I'm coming to your house. I'm not going to bring that. But at my own house here on a Tuesday night, we're just making, dinner or, whatever. It's a great.
You mean when the pastor comes over, you're not going to pull out the...
Well, that's what Jeffy might do. I don't know about that for me, but
I listen. We make a burnt offering.
I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what that means. He was talking about some crazy shit that's going on.
You talking about barbecue?
Like
Yeah,
babies and circumcision
vitamins.
or something. I don't know. Earlier this week.
Listen, it's legal in my state.
What is?
Weed.
No, here in Connecticut
well,
too.
burnt
It's more legal here than it is in your state.
I said I'd make a burnt offering. I said the pastor's coming over. We're gonna drink wine.
You know we have more weed stores in our state than do in New York now.
That's bullshit. Maybe legal ones.
No, we mad.
We have mad illegal stores in Manhattan right now. It's crazy.
They don't count.
It's fucking bananas.
They're not.
You go to every store, and the guy, like a regular guy that I used to just buy the paper from, is like, "Hey man, you want some pre-rolls?" I'm like,
Jesus.
Do I? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm always like weirded out. I'm like, I'm going to get hit with like a fentanyl pre-roll out of one of these fucking like hot dog
Jeff, here we go. You can't.
That's my luck. You know what I mean? Like, you know how I roll.
Don't do
I'll
it.
walk around. I'll eat one hot dog. I'll get syphilis. I don't know how. It's like.
Gee, we make fun of Jeffy because any festival we go to or whatever, Jeff doesn't actually cook anything, even though he's coming to help. He walks around and tastes everybody's food. He walks around. Hang on a second. You can yell at me in a minute. He walks around and eats like there'll be a bowl that had raw chicken in it an hour ago and some kind of sauce. Like, oh, that was delicious, and he eats it. And then he wonders why 5 hours later he's like, "Oh goddamn, I can't come down
Jeff
tonight. I'm not
food.
feeling good." So Jeff
He's
he's a sour tummy king.
First of all, I'm fearless. These guys aren't. Okay, I get out.
You
there,
look like you
I
might be
taste
coming
things.
down with something now.
Nah. I always have a little something. That's the problem. It's my candida. I don't know what it is. I don't know. It's just getting crazy in my body. It's like,
And now Jeff's gonna yell at us right now because he's like, "Don't cook anything." He's like, "I made some coleslaw," and even that he couldn't lift the container I had to for him. It was too heavy for him.
oh my god, this guy is so hurtful.
So, am I getting this right?
You know why it's hurtful?
It's always
G?
90 minutes.
You know why it's
start
hurtful?
roasting Jeffy.
Yeah, it's about right. It's about. And by the way, he said, "I want you to point out." He said it's so hurtful. He didn't say I was so wrong.
No. You know why it's hurtful? He always points out that my
you peeled those 4 carrots.
All the other things that I do that are
26
wonderful.
minutes. It's a big carrot.
Oh my god,
Jeffy,
these
we
guys
love you,
suck.
buddy.
I gotta say honestly,
We love you.
They both honestly, bro, terrible people.
I'm listening.
Let me tell you something right now. I let Jeff. We brought Jeff to come to a dinner we did for Sam Adams. Hang on a second, G, for Sam Adams. And I said, Jeffy, you're gonna be one of our featured chefs. You make your dish. Tell us what you're gonna make. It's gonna be great. He's like, hell yeah, fuck, it's gonna be incredible. Big Sam Adams dinner we're doing in Boston to benefit a big charity and help out the Ukraine and all that stuff. Jeffy's dish. All of us who've done this event, we're like, okay, cool. I'm gonna do like a quick little shrimp dish. It'll be great, easy, whatever, great. Jeffy's dish had 97 steps. So many steps that me and 2 other chefs had to help him finish it because he.
I'm out.
But
Who
I do
helped
want
you
to
roll your goddamn bread and cut it up, motherfucker? You made prosciutto bread. You cooked prosciutto bread. We baked bread for your dish. You're mad at me because we had to stuff a chicken leg? God,
he's
the
passionate,
bone.
man. I can't comment on this. I feel like this is like 3 doctors arguing about medicine, and I'm like,
listen. First of all,
I'm like the person that pushes people in wheelchairs.
There
like,
were,
I can't help
there
you
were
guys
a
out
lot
here.
of people there.
It's 2 doctors and a
people
PA. That's all.
Who said it was the dish of the night? It was just
Dish of the night.
Because we made them feel bad. They had 97 steps. Let's get G out of here. He wants to go drink wine and see if his wife's still awake. I get it. Don't talk to your wife after that comment earlier.
What?
Bro, we got 3 kids. I might as well just sleep in the basement full time.
That's my dude. See, that's why you should do the podcast. You should do the podcast with us now every Thursday night. She's not paying attention to you.
Yeah. Join our
She
club.
forgot about me a long time ago.
Lonely Daddy's Club.
He's like, you're not coming anywhere near me.
Damn.
G, you are awesome. We appreciate the hell out of you, man. You were just such a great human being, man. I'm fucking so glad that we're friends. I'm so glad you'll come hang out with us. And I do mean it. When this thing comes back up, you let me know, and we will fucking champion the hell out of it. And I will be the loudest voice you've ever heard when it comes to it. We'll do. I'll do TV segments. You don't got to pay me to do TV segments. I'll do TV segments. Fuck them.
Well, you know what? This is massive for you to say, and obviously, this goes beyond, this goes beyond friendship, and I believe it goes to directly, one another's ethos, right? Like what we believe as human beings, and what we believe as being right for our community. So to hear you say that is massive. I can't thank you enough. And,
I know your family. I've met your dad. This is your family business, dude. There's history here. There's heritage here. Come on, get the fuck out of here. We should support that, and we should be proud of that here in Guinness State.
Exactly. But look, hey, thank you for giving me the opportunity to come on here. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to answer questions. Shed light on the subject. I think that the smarter we all are, the better equipped we are to make any given decision that we're faced with. And that's all I ask is, how do we look at all the information? How do we become smarter individuals so that when we are faced with a tough decision, that we make a good decision?
Absolutely. And we'll send some clips over to you too, so you can use them for whatever you need to, so you can take care of it. And obviously, of course, the audio version comes out tomorrow on the podcast, every platform you can imagine. G, you are the man, brother. Make sure you check out ctwinecustomer.com, at GP Wineslinger on IG. This gentleman is the jam. Great bottle of wine right here. G, I can't read it because that's where I'm at in my age right now, but I'll hang it up one more time. Just tell us what this bottle was one more time.
Tenuta Toscante. It is the Gaia Nera. It is a Etna Rosso, a red blend, or
That's
sorry,
the grape,
a red
right?
wine from Mount Etna. No. Grape
the
is
place,
Norella
excuse me.
Mascalese. Yep, exactly.
Am I
Place,
wrong?
Etna Rosso.
Is this grape similar? It's very similar to. Isn't there a Gaianera in that weird shaped bottle that is very similar to like a Barolo? Isn't that?
You're thinking Gattinara, which is made
Gattinara.
with
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's in that. You know what I'm talking about?
Total opposite ends of Italy. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was like. I was like, is it a similar grape? Because that's the only other grape I ever heard with that name, which is another amazing bottle of wine.
He does.
Jeffy's got the palate. Yeah, dude. Because to be honest with you, this wine is oftentimes compared to both Nebbiolo, which is the grape for Gattinara, and then also Pinot Noir. So look at Jeffy, dude, tying it all together.
How about that, right?
That guy.
There it is. There.
So don't let them give you shit anymore, Jeffy.
No.
Thanks, G. I appreciate you, Doug.
I'm telling you. Lay it down, dude.
Shout out to Vibe Out Music on Instagram, who is loving our wine conversation. Big fan of that.
Thanks,
shout out to Frazier. We got people chiming in all over the place. G, you are the man. We appreciate you. I know you got to work tomorrow. Get some sleep. And, dude, text me when you're in Newtown. Come through, man. I'll come over and see you.
I love it, brother.
Bro, you're the man. We appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, G Patel. There he is.
Yeah.
Have a great night, brother.
Fellas.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
There he is. What a great human being that dude is, man. One of my favorite fucking people to talk to. One of the most down-to-earth fucking dudes you're going to talk to. And honest. And how smart is he, right?
So fucking smart. That guy made me feel ridiculously not. Well, he was talking. I had to literally I don't know if you watch. When we go back and watch the episode, my face half the time was going.
You look like Igor.
Because it was intense, and it was like I was following along, and it's like the stuff he was saying was like, I mean, he's very knowledgeable cat, man.
Well, and he's a great fucking guy too, and his whole family is amazing. His dad was one of the first people to open a liquor store in the state of Connecticut. His family was.
Really?
It goes way far back in his heritage. I was going to get into all that too, but we just kept talking and talking. I couldn't get into it, but his heritage and his family, it's what they do, and they're fucking good at it. And why would we ever want to jeopardize that?
Dude,
you know,
this bottle of wine.
Yeah,
I mean, we're like,
are you gonna get
how about
this
a
at
spring bottle?
You're gonna get that at a Stop and Shop. You're gonna get that at a fucking bit. No, absolutely not.
G's intel. I mean, this like speaks to his palate and just who he is as a wine connoisseur. We
$24.
Like, what would you give him? Would you tell him like 24 hours? Like, hey, bud, give me a wine, and he throws this killer wine out. You grab it.
Gem.
Dan grabs it. You drop it off in New York. We're tasting this wine, and it's literally a gem. Literally, I mean,
I'd buy a bunch of this again. This is a great. I mean, think about it, like just to have around. This is a great bottle of fucking wine right here.
It's a great bottle of wine. It is really good. It's delicious.
Really makes you want
I think a lot of that what you're talking about, like I don't want no snot-nosed kid telling me what wine to buy. You know,
they don't
They'll
know.
be sitting in the grocery store. They don't know shit. You gonna find some kid that don't know what's going on. He just happened to be in this section. Hey, what wine? When he gonna point to that. He'll point to that shit with the lights and fake champagne.
The end cap they've got set up on sale. This is great.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not going to be that. Let me pair this to what you're eating at the time you're eating it with what you like. Like that.
He's a certified sommelier. He can tell you.
He's the man.
That's
and fucking good looking fella this time of night, wasn't he? God damn,
dude. He's way more alert than most gentlemen this late at night.
And he's been working all day. What a great dude, G Patel. Much love. I got so much fucking love for that guy. He is awesome. Like literally, I called him when I found out what this thing was. I called him, and we talked for about 45 minutes because I was like, I need you to tell me why I shouldn't do this. They were gonna pay me, and I need you to tell me why I shouldn't do this. And I said, you're my friend. If you tell me don't do it because I'm your friend, then I won't do it. I was like, but give me more. And he broke it down, dude. And you heard it there. He was breaking it all down. How much to trickle down. Like on the surface, it sounds like a great idea. Yeah, of course you should have that. But then when you think about it, it hurts everything.
I got dead ass. I was ready to argue with him tonight. Like before we even got on the episode. Like because I've lived in tons of states with wine and grocery stores.
Yeah.
And I was like ready to be like, I don't know, man. I've gotten some great booze and wine in some grocery stores. Like some grocery stores are better than others. But when
grocery store
look at the when you look at the economy of Connecticut's like how they're selling their wine now and what they're doing and how it'll affect real lives and families that are already in a demographic that are doing a great job, like why would you change that and take that away from people who are doing such a great job? You know what I mean? Like G is killing it. Like it would literally take money out of his mouth, you know, out of his kids' mouths. Right. And it's like when I think about that, that's what infuriates me more than anything. And it made me really think about, like, I never saw the effect of what happened to that state when that went into effect. You know what I mean? I never moved to a state when that was happening. I never saw how, like, someone like G, who I'd been going to their store forever, had to close. Right. You know what I mean? And that's the reality of that situation. You would be going to those stores at some point and they'd be like, yeah, we're having a sale, you know, we can't keep up, or whatever, you know, whatever the bullshit is, because like Kmart opened up now.
Or like he said, we're selling the Kmart Spumante. Like dude, you know,
but that's the shit that ends up happening, man. When you drive around half the country, it's full of Dollar Generals and like these fucking weird stores that sell everything that are just like, you know, and half of it's like aftermarket shit.
It's not great.
Like it's weird, man. And
I'll tell you,
people are just okay with it, and it makes my fucking head spin. And
I've done dinners, Jeffy, like caterings, and Dan, you've been a part of this. I've done some catering gigs where they want wine with dinner, and I'm like, okay, I got a great guy. You tell me if you're into it. What's your price range? And they're like, you know, I want to spend $20, $25 a bottle. I'm like, great. I email G, or I call G. I send him my menu, and I said, bro, I got $20, $25 a bottle for this. Pair me up, and I've got 30 people or whatever. And he pairs the whole thing up. I send it to the client. Client says, great. I text or call G and say, hey, they're in. I need to buy fucking Friday. He's like, awesome. When I get there to go pick it up, it's ready to go. The whites are cold. It's all ready to fucking go. Show me which grocery store I could do that with.
None. Ain't a supermarket on the planet that's gonna do that shit for you.
No. And then one of the reds is gonna be this gem. And then not only does he give me something like that, he sends me notes on each wine so I can say something about each wine to the client. Like that's the fucking surface. Like
that's the above and beyond shit.
So real talk. So I walked in the store today to get this bottle of wine, right? So I walk in. I'm looking for G. I don't see him. Maybe within 30 seconds of me walking in the store, someone's like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing? What's going on? Hey, man, how you doing? What's going on?" All right, so I look around. Hey, can I help you with something? Oh yeah, I'm looking for G. All right, he was busy. Dude walked around the store with me, helped me find some things. We talked about some other wines. Went about a day. I got my wine. We went about it. This is just a guy that this isn't even G. This is just another employee of the store. And there's a number of I walk in liquor stores all the time, and they come, hey, what can I help you with? What are you looking for? What do you want? You're not gonna get that at a supermarket.
No,
that's that care and that love that you're gonna find when you're picking something. And for some people, maybe
not every supermarket for sure.
I'm
there'll
sure
be a handful out there that'll do a great job and
that's supermarkets.
It's like, but it won't be the same, and that's the thing that's fucking crazy. It's like,
well, you heard
never.
G
be
was
the
like, listen,
same.
he's like, I've got 40,000 different choices, right? It's gonna go down to 3,000.
That's what I mean. That's the shit that's the thing that is mind-boggling. And think about how many small businesses that are out there, like things that haven't even been created, that will be stifled because of that.
No doubt about it. By the way, Fraser on Instagram is asking, where's G's store? He's got 5 throughout Connecticut. Bottle Stop in Newtown. What's the one in Ansonia called? Or the one you went
to?
Valley Discount Wines and Liquors.
Valley Discount Wines in Ansonia.
Yeah, they got a bunch of them, man, and great people. Would highly recommend supporting them. Good fucking people.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And intelligent and smart. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I go to a store because I want someone to talk to me about it. You know, I want to talk about it. I want to say, this is what I like. You know, what's going on in the store? What do you got right now? You know, show me something cool. And G's brother H is just as good. I mean, H is a little bit more burly than G, but he's a good dude.
I gotta be honest. The fact that it's G and H, I love. Because
it's
right in a row.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's amazing.
Let me tell you, I went out drinking with these boys one night after an event. Bad idea. Bad. It was, listen, we were going to steal an Uber.
Yo, you and G are superhuman with drinking. I can already see G is at your level of just like being able to probably drink 2 or 3 bottles of wine a day without feeling it much.
Let's go.
Like, but he's like casual with it, never sloppy, sipping, enjoying life, getting down with it, but loving it. And like, dude, what a suave guy. I want him to be in our posse. Like, G, you're a good brother.
G's part of the group, dude. G's in the posse, no doubt about it. Fraser jumps in on Instagram, says, that's the Bottle Stop, dude. That's a great store. Yeah, I know. It's a fucking great fucking store. Fantastic
That's
store.
the Bottle Stop, dude?
Yeah.
I love it.
That's awesome. Great store, great people, great. And that's the thing. It's the knowledgeable it's the knowledge that I really like. Like, I just like to be able to go in there and talk to people about wine. That's all. And like I said, I'm 23% through my quartermaster sommelier level 1. So we got that going.
Well, you're 23%.
So I said 23%.
Well, you said a quarter.
I think that's a 23. Nobody said a quarter, Jeff. I said I'm 23%.
I thought you said a quarter, and I was like,
masters.
You got 7% left to go.
Here's the thing: like the wine tasting parts, each lecture is like a fucking hour. So it's about taking an hour, and like sometimes I don't have an hour. Sometimes Jeffy wants to play the fucking zombie game, and I can't. I gotta play a zombie game.
That too.
That sounds like excuses.
I call him and I'm like, "You don't want to play the zombie game? You're a dick!" Oh, and I get mad, and then
I'm learning about Burgundy, Jeffy.
He's like, "Oh man, I gotta learn. I'm trying to be smarter."
You just wait. Don't worry. By this summer, I have till July 5th to finish it. I'm gonna have my pen and everything. And after my name, it's gonna say level 1 Som.
Portuguese ones go to Porto.
That's true, Jeff. That's true, Dan. That's true.
Ports are some good quality wines as well.
Oh, Port's where Port's from. But anyway, so like that's just
nobody drinks Port but Dave.
It don't matter.
Dave drinks Port like it's fucking. I mean,
like he's a pirate that just invaded the city, though. He like walks around with it.
Dave shows up to the 1:00 football game, and most of us are ordering beers. And Dave's like, "Let me get you. You guys got a port menu? Let me get a port."
I know why you hating on a 20. 8-year 20. Yo, an 8-year 20 is no joke, bro.
Listen,
I don't know why y'all playing.
8-year 20. I'd like to have that.
Yo, I ran up.
Let me get a quesadilla to 8-year 20.
He in Manhattan. He just like walked up to me like he was just like you know, had been living in a like an old subway car somewhere. He's just like, "Hey man, what's up? Would you like a little port?" What? No. Like,
no, I don't want to drink.
He's a wild dude.
Blackberries and a port.
No, he's like, no, I'm on a port thing right now.
Look, I'm talking about this summer walking around a bag of shrimp everywhere I go.
Yo,
I just got a bag of shrimp.
Little bag of shrimp and some cocktail sauce.
I'll share that shit with anybody.
Keith type shit.
You're like a fucking bag of shrimp.
Yo, you know, Cool Keith used to throw hot wings at his concert.
Oh.
He would buy a bunch of hot wings before his show.
Oh God!
One hot wing in Ziploc bags, and then he would just throw them out at the show.
Yo, Cool Keith is that dude.
Cool Keith is wild.
Yo,
let's get him on the show.
The Black
Elvis on the show.
Right.
Oh my God, Cool
Before
Keith, if you're listening,
on the show. Let's get him on the show.
Listen, man, come on, man. We'll talk about Ultimate MCs. We'll talk about your last album. I got it all. I think yo.
And by the way, I want to know the best way to
down.
throw a chicken wing in a Ziploc bag at somebody.
Yo,
can't wait to talk to you.
Yo,
Cool
he
Keith.
would do shit like he would like get like porno pages. He would rip out pages from like dirty magazines and do the same thing, like write stuff in them and then like fold it up and then just like throw them out in the crowd. And that would be like the keepsakes from the show and shit. Made him crazy. Like, people became like, people loved it.
This is the longest episode we've had in a long time. We're at an hour and 55 minutes.
Yeah, I know. This dumpster's been on fire.
No, it hasn't been. It's just now starting to light a little bit.
I'm sending Jeff Cool Keith's email right now.
I'm just drunk.
Well, that's okay too. That's okay too.
Listen,
how much wine's
Daddy's
up in your bottle,
drinking
Jeffy?
Maybe a glass.
No, it's not a glass. That's like a quarter of a glass. Maybe half a glass.
See, look how Plum sees the bottle, always half empty.
No, I just know there's 4.5 glasses of wine per bottle.
I'm just teasing. No, you're
not gonna judge me.
This is
on
like
my
my
measurement.
ninth glass. It feels like that's how drunk I feel.
Let me tell you something, Jeff.
I'm gonna go inside. My family's gonna hate me in about whatever minutes we get off this phone call.
Your math is phenomenal, Jeff. I want you to know I had 2 glasses of bubbly on the way down tonight, and I had 2 beers. Well, Jesus, Dan just showed up with Cool Keith's fucking email.
Oh, Cool Keith,
get him on the show.
Let's get him on the show. Email Cool Keith, Jeffy. Let's get him on the show.
Let's do it.
Absolutely gonna email.
I'm sure he's got a new album out where he just makes sounds.
He just
or
dropped
something.
an album, actually. Yeah, Google it, dog. It's fucking fire.
Listen,
I mean, it's Cool Keith shit, you know.
Weird.
People walking around the moon, doing
Let's go.
things with a spoon. Here I am doing the man. I'm walking away.
Does that sound bad to me? It doesn't sound bad to
man,
me.
Yo, listen, I'm telling you right now, it's some fucking wild shit. I love his way his brain works.
Let's get this show out of here. You ready? It's been a minute. I do want to end with this first because this is a fucking phenomenal piece of work right here. Here we go.
It's the 20th anniversary of the Sun Wine and Food Fest.
Best festival on the East Coast, in America, on this continent, on this planet.
My 2 favorite parts of that video are one where it looks like Scott Conant is part of us. He's like fixing his hair, talking to Dan. That's awesome. And number 2, when Dan's walking slow motion towards the camera, clapping. It's the best fucking part of all time. It's a good video.
I like that, and I like us on the spin around thing. I love.
Oh
that.
yeah, it just keeps coming back to it. Oh, that's the best.
I love
Whoever
that.
made that video did a good job.
That's it. Yeah, I think it was one of our fans. Shout out to Massive Mensch.
It sounds terrible. Listen, shout out to G Patel for being on the program. We appreciate the hell out of him for being on here. Make sure you check out for sure. We want to keep wines out of grocery stores. ctwinecustomer.com for all the information right there. GP Wine Slinger on Instagram. Shout out to G. Great bottle of wine he showed us tonight too. Just rewind the show to get back and hear that because I can't pronounce the shit he said. It's a great Sicilian bottle. The grape is some crazy shit I can't remember, but it's awesome. It's delicious.
Nera.
Yeah, that's what Dan said.
Toscante.
Dan's always Italian until he actually has to read something Italian.
Tenuta
Like, oh, fuck, I'm
Toscante.
from Bridgeport.
Tenuta Toscante.
Italian.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Tenuta Escante. Okay.
All right. That just feels like it's wrong. Like we shouldn't be doing that.
No, it's Italian.
I am Italian. I'm
Italian
Sicilian.
too.
I can say what the fuck I want.
Yeah, fuck those motherfuckers.
I'm sure I'm Italian too in some capacity. But,
Hey.
Sicilians ain't really Italians, but it's whatever.
He says Sicilians aren't really Italians. Oh shit.
That's for another episode.
That's a whole other fight in itself right there.
Well,
for Chef Dan, for Chef Jeffy, my name is Chef Plum. Appreciate you checking out Plum Love Foods Live. We're at an hour and 59 minutes on this one. This is a long one tonight, but it was a good one. A lot of information. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Podcast version comes out tomorrow. Shout out to everybody on Instagram. Shout out to everybody on YouTube, to all the places, to Facebook. We'll see you guys next week right here on Plum Love Foods Live. Have a great weekend, friends. Peace.
From the tower of power, too sweet to be sour, I'm funky like a monkey. Sky's the limit and space is the place.
Thank you for listening to Plum Love Foods Live. See you next week, good brothers and sisters.
Do you think I'm crazy?